today we're joined by Peter Ryan, an advisor in the CX and BPO spaces and Chief Analyst at Ryan Strategic Advisory. Peter, thanks for being here today.
Peter, thank you very much for having me. I'm delighted to be here and truly appreciate the opportunity to chat with the team at Nearshore Americas.
Perfect. So, Peter, over the last 2 years following the onset of COVID-19, we've seen a disruption of the BPO market and the nearshore as remote work has become dominant. Considering this, which are the nearshore markets that you see making headway in the coming year and why?
I don't think it'll come as any big surprise that there's a couple of locations that have really done well over the course of the past little while. One of them, I think, certainly has to be Jamaica. I truly think that Jamaica might be the most successful nearshore, if not offshore, story of 2021. The extent to which it's been able to attract new outsourcing investment, not just from the CX side, but also from broader business services and IT services, has really been phenomenal. And I put a lot of the credit down to the industry itself, as well as from the investment promotion agency in the form of JamPro. They've done a tremendous job in terms of putting Jamaica out there and making it relevant to the rest of the world. Equally speaking, Peter, I also think that we should be looking at giving a lot of credit to locations such as Honduras that has been able to secure new investment from the likes of IBEX that's recently gone in, as well as a number of other organizations that are kicking the tires. I think we should also make sure that we recognize the efforts in Colombia. And interestingly enough, Colombia was recently ranked as the most at the top of the 2021 Offshore BPO Confidence Index, which was released last week by Ryan Strategic Advisory and Cognitive Copy. Certainly no small feat, and I think testament to the tremendous work that's gone on by the BPO ecosystem in Colombia.
Perfect. And Peter, obviously remote working has helped increase the size of talent pools available to BPOs as they're now able to hire outside of the immediate physical location of offices. So how have nearshore markets really leveraged this competitive edge, and which markets are best poised to gain from the remote working trend?
Well, look, I think from what I've been able to glean, there's been a really great track record in terms of being able to support remote working in the nearshore markets. I've been doing some work recently, and one of the things that's really come out has been the fact that there has been a tremendous amount of remote work and home-based working efforts that have been happening across the nearshore ecosystem. This speaks a lot to the quality of the infrastructure that's in place in most of the nearshore, if not all of the nearshore markets. And certainly, I think, has proven the fact that there's been a great amount of effort that's been made by the BPO sector to work in tandem with the local telcos to make sure that the redundancy is ramped up, that the quality of the bandwidth is there in terms of what's required to allow people to work from home.
Okay, that's very interesting. And then which are the major considerations, Peter, would you say, for companies that are looking to expand into any of the nearshore markets today? Whereas competitive real estate costs were once an important consideration, perhaps they're less so now. So which are those major considerations that remain key for expansion?
Well, look, I mean, I think that in terms of real estate, that certainly is a very important factor. And well, I would certainly admit that to a very large degree, the quality of commercial real estate that's available and that BPOs can take advantage of certainly shouldn't be underestimated. It is just one of several considerations. I think that the quality of the infrastructure, not just the telco, but also the extent to which organizations can leverage good quality infrastructure from the perspective of power supply is very, very important. And that's something that I've been very heartened to find out about in terms of a lot of different nearshore spots. I think as well, there also has to be the recognition that the transport infrastructure is very important, the ability to seamlessly get in and out of different destinations. That, I think, is probably going to be a very big factor, especially given the fact, Peter, that we're going to see people wanting to travel a lot less, and when they do travel, they're going to want direct connections.
Peter, what are the areas that investment promotion agencies should focus on in attracting investments from BPO and CX-related service providers in today's market?
Well, they need to make sure that what they're promoting is going to be pertinent and relevant to the potential potential BPO investors. And one of the things that I think is very disheartening when you travel into the region and any offshore location for that matter, and you get the same PowerPoint presentation that's generic, that touches on the same things. We're great at English. We've got a stable economy. We've got a stable political system. We've got lots of real estate. They've got to find something that's going to make them stand out. They've got to try and figure out what they are going to be relevant for, what type of outsourcing they're going to be going after, and make their value proposition and their pitch as pertinent as possible. The only way they're going to win that investment is by being able to specialize and to demonstrate that unique sales proposition. It's marketing 101. And unfortunately, I think this is where in the past, a lot of these outsourced promotion agencies have just not hit the mark. We've seen some good examples of them actually hitting the mark. And I mentioned JamPro recently. I've heard great things recently about ProAsa and Pro Colombia. That good work has to be kept up.
Okay, brilliant. And then lastly, Peter, what are the trends you see driving the CX industry in 2022 and perhaps beyond?
I think there's a number of trends that we're going to be seeing. Number one, access to labor. That's going to be crucial. Equally, the ability of a location or of an outsourcer in a location to demonstrate that it is fully compliant and that it's got everything in place when it comes to data protection, information security, that they have done everything they possibly can to reduce fraud and to make sure that they're as impermeable as possible when it comes to to having data stolen, or that their facilities are as ramped up as possible in terms of security. Those are going to be key. And I think also, Peter, this whole issue about business continuity is going to be absolutely essential. When it comes right down to it, one of the things we've seen the past 18 months or so has been a limited appeal for organizations to work with outsourcers that have got all their eggs in one proverbial basket. Thus, it's going to be crucial in regards to the outsourcing community to make sure that they don't just necessarily have one nearshore location, but they've got to look at having perhaps 2, 3, 4 in order to make sure that they've got that level of redundancy the clients are going to be looking for.